Hello. Hello, everyone out there in Jesse James Beats world. I don't see anyone live yet. I hope we'll get some folks to join. Hello, hello. Hello out there. I hope you all can see me. Hello, hello. How's everyone doing this afternoon? Hi, happy Monday. Give me an emoji if you can hear me, guys. Want to make sure you can hear me? Give me a thumbs up. Aloha. Oh, Tammy, you're in Hawaii. Oh my gosh. Meredith, I did. I cut 4 inches off my hair. It was time to go. Hello, everyone. Oh my gosh. So I'm so excited to be here. I want to say thank you to Jesse James Beads for inviting me to the Rising Star series. I'm so excited to join. I'm a longtime Jesse James Beads lover and big fan of Sarah James. So I'm super, super excited to be part of the event today. So for those of you, well, I know a few of you, but for those of you who don't know me, I'm Deb Floros. I'm a jewelry designer and I live in Cave Creek, Arizona. And I've been in Arizona for about, I don't know, close to 4 years now. And normally this time of year, it's pretty sunny out, but we kind of have a gloomy day. So I'm excited about the project that we're going to do today because it's going to bring spring to all of us. So I thought that for starters, I'd share a little bit about myself if you don't know me and you haven't heard my spiel before. So I started making jewelry about 13 years ago, and I stumbled on a bead store in Avon, Connecticut, where I was living at the time, probably, yeah, about 13 years ago. And I did one of those screeched around and pulled into the parking lot of the bead shop. And I saw on the door that they do this open beading night. And that got me super excited because I had always kind of been interested in making jewelry, always loved fashion and accessories, and jewelry was always something I enjoyed. So I had always kind of thought in the back of my mind, hey, someday I want to learn how to make jewelry. And so I went to one of the open beading nights and learned how to crimp, well, actually string, crimp, and I went home with a piece of made jewelry and so hooked ever since then. And, you know, I think a lot of people, when they start something new, they either take off and run with it, or they do it for a little while and then they try something else and maybe they sort of fall out of love with it. I have never, ever, ever fallen out of love with jewelry making. And in fact, it just gets stronger every year. So I love making it. It's my passion. Hello, everyone. It's my passion. It's my therapy. It's a part of me. So I'm so excited to share some of my story with you. Let's see. I thought I would tell you too how I first came to know Jesse James Beads. So probably the first trip to Tucson for the gem shows. I had been aware of Jesse James Beads, but I really hadn't seen their materials up close and personal. And my first time to Tucson to the gem shows, I was totally overwhelmed. It's still pretty overwhelming when you go. But I was making my way around one of the shows, just sort of looking up. It probably had this dazed look on my face. And I go around the corner and there is this amazing array of colorful beads. And I knew without even looking at the sign that that was Jesse James beads. And there was Sarah, and I forget who she was with. It was another designer, and they were like kind of messing with the beads, and I tapped one of them on the shoulder and said hello. And then when they parted their way in the booth, I saw all the beads. And of course, a ton of beads came home with me. And every time I visit the gem show, I end up with another bag of beads from Jesse James Beads. So so that was my first meeting with Jesse James Beads, my first encounter with them. So I have always enjoyed the whimsical and happy feeling that they bring. You know, most of the materials that you see that Jesse James sells is so colorful and so beautiful and so inspiring. It just makes you feel happy. So I hope that today what we do will kind of open up your mind a little bit, and maybe, you know, have you venture out a little bit with some of the materials that you can get on the Jesse James website. Quickly, my jewelry brand is Deb Loves, L-U-V-S Jewelry Designs. And I do a whole bunch of different things. I really just love making jewelry with any kind of materials. I consider myself a master stringer, but I do some seed bead work and some resin work and just a ton of different techniques with a ton of different materials. So if you see my work out there, I sell on Etsy and Amazon Handmade. You'll see a variety of different kinds of pieces. So I'm on Amazon Handmade and Etsy, like I said, and you can also find me on Instagram, Facebook, and Pinterest. So if you want to go out and peruse my my stuff, my jewelry, I would greatly appreciate it. Like me and follow me in all of those places. That would be awesome. So today I thought I would share with you kind of one of my out there ideas. My jewelry, I do some things that are sort of, you know, normal, predictable, and then I make some things that are kind of out there. And I just really like to try to do something different. There's so many people that make jewelry. I always try to find a different way to do something different. So we're going to make a fun project today. We're going to make what I'm calling the Edgy Elegant Choker. And I know some people go, oh, choker? Well, this is not just your average choker. So I'm going to put it on. You may have seen the picture in the promo. And I'm going to actually take off my earrings so I don't take away from the design. But this is what we're going to make today, guys. So this is not your average choker. So as you can see, it's only going around part of my neck, and there's a gap there, and it's not like, you know, tight on my neck. It's just sort of hanging out there, and we've got two little lovely strands of beads. So really different, interesting, unique. And if I show you up close, look at the shimmer and shine of these beads. So we've got some lovely pearls, some lovely Czech glass, and some really beautiful seed beads. So we're going to make this, and I want you guys to think about, you know, maybe you can wear a choker. I think some folks say, oh, I can't wear a choker. You can wear a choker, and this choker is really interesting and different. So it's going to be a statement piece for you, and maybe you want to make it for someone you love. So this is the piece we're going to do today. So I'm going to clunkily, probably, turn my camera around, and we're going to get started on our projects. Hello, Miss Julie Peterson. So I can, oh my gosh, turn the camera around. So I've got all my goodies set up for you guys. And I hope that you all, hope that you all can see that. Ooh, oh my gosh. I'm sorry, guys. Lord have mercy. I'm just so clumsy in general. So flipping the cameras around have never been my forte. All right. So here is what we're going to need for our project today. So we have, first of all, these amazing big pearls. So these are from the Jesse James Beads Design Elements collection. These are Czech 14 millimeter cream pearls. They are a lovely, lovely shade of yellow. I'll show you what they look like out of the package. Look at those beauties. So, so fantastic. We also have the Jesse James Beads Design Elements Toho size 11 antique lace. These are seed beads in 3 beautiful shades. Oh my Lord, I saw this and I saw the name of it. I'm like, oh my gosh, oh yes, yes please. They're beautiful. And then we have from the Dress It Up collection, the Czech Fire Polish 8 millimeter AB crystal beads. And these, my ladies, these are dreamy. I used to never like AB finish, but the last couple of years I've fallen madly in love with it. It's just so powerful and it adds a little bit of extra glint, sparkle, shine, and everything. And it always blends nicely with whatever color you attach it to. So those are the elements we're going to use today. Simple, 3 kinds of beads. We're going to use memory wire. We're going to use the Bead-A-Lon memory wire necklace size. So for those of you who have made memory wire bracelets, there is actually necklace memory wire. And that's what we're going to use to make sure that we have our choker stay on. And then we're also going to use 22 gauge artistic wire in silver. And the tools we're going to need, believe it or not, we're going to need all these tools. For such a simple project, I'll explain why. So first and foremost, anytime you're dealing with memory wire, I want you guys to make sure that you use memory wire pliers. I'm going to mom you for a second. Memory wire pliers are the only way you want to cut memory wire. And I should say memory wire cutters, not pliers. Memory wire cutters are the only way you want to cut memory wire, because otherwise you will mar up your good ones. If you have some old cutters that you don't mind messing up, feel free, but these are really the only way to cut your memory wire safely and to preserve your tool. So you'll need those. You'll also need a pair of your regular cutters because we are going to cut our artistic wire. I also like the Bead-A-Lon finishing pliers for finishing off the memory wire necklace. The choker part, we want to make a nice coil, and this little barrel here makes a nice curl for us to finish it off. I also use my regular round nose pliers, and I like to have a pair of flat nose pliers as well. In fact, I'm actually going to have 2 pair handy just in case I need to do a little tweaking of my wire wrapping. So lots of tools for a simple project, but this one's a really fun one. So again, I'll show you guys what we're doing. We are going to make 2 wire wrapped chains of pearls and Czech glass. Then we are going to add a section of seed beads and the lovely Czech glass beads. And then along the back of our memory wire, we're going to put a variegated pattern of the seed beads. So if you're not feeling spring, like for example, if you're in Colorado and you're buried in snow, or you're somewhere else where it's just still really cold and gloomy, we're going to bring some spring to your day with this project. So here's all my stuff. And I have to tell you, I cheated and I did create one of the beaded chains already. Because it's going to take us a while to string on all the seed beads. Oh, and one more thing, you guys, I forgot to say this. You'll also need 2 head pins. And I use a 3-inch head pin. These are just silver flat head pins. You'll need a couple of those too to do the project. And for your memory wire, because we're going to be creating that opening, that negative space at the front of your neck, what you're going to want to do is cut like a round and a half of memory wire. So a round is the circular section of the memory wire. So you're going to want about a round and a half. And what I did to get us started was I actually coiled one of the ends, and I'm going to string everything from the other end. And I did cheat and created one of my coils. But what I wanted to do first is just kind of get all my materials out. So I've got my beautiful pearls. Oh my gosh, Jesse James beads folks that might be with us. Those are fantastic. I'm going to lay out these gorgeous Czech glass beads. These are just so phenomenal. Oh my Lord, they are just beautiful. And then I'm going to need quite a few of these little seed beads. And actually, I'm going to move my tools just a little bit out of my way. Sorry, y'all. All right, so I'm going to put my seed beads off to the side over here. And I have a surface that won't let my beads roll around. But you can always drop your seed beads into little dishes if that helps you to keep them from getting away from you. Inevitably, I will lose at least 1 or 2 seed beads during this conversation today. I just have a tendency to do that. They sort of get away from me. So I've got everything laid out in front of me. And what I want to do first is I'm going to show you, because we're starting at one end, I'm going to slide on the strand of wire wrapped beads that I already did. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to bring that all the way around, and you can see it just bumps right up against my coil. Hopefully you guys can see that okay. And what I want to do is, most of the design work that I've always seen people do, it's always good to work in uneven numbers, in trios. So most of what I'm going to be doing is in this beginning phase are sets of 3 of the seed beads. So I'm going to start with the darkest shade of seed bead, and oops, I'm going to put 3 seed beads on past my strung on wire wrapped piece. So if you can, it's going to be tough to see with these light colors, but trust me guys, that's what I'm doing. And then I'm going to put on my first crystal. So you can really start to see what this is going to look like. I'm going to go to my next color, my next shade of seed beads, and I put 3 on, and then one of my lovely Czech glass beads, looking good so far. I'm going to grab 3 of these white seed beads, and these white ones actually have a nice little shimmer to them. I think they actually have a little bit of an AB finish on them as well. So then I'm going to put on that next crystal. Oh my gosh, that looks so, just looks so beautiful. And we're going to put a total of 6 of those Czech glass beads on. And I'm sorry if I go out of view here. I'm like trying to see, even with glasses, my vision is not great some days. All right, so putting on that next pretty Czech bead. Look at that AB finish, you guys. Oh my goodness. This really does like scream spring. And I keep looking outside. It's kind of cloudy here in Arizona today. And I keep hoping that the sun is going to come out, and it almost looks like maybe it might this afternoon. So we'll see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just checking my count. One thing that I always try to do is before I get too far into a design is I go back and take a look at what I've done to make sure I haven't messed up my pattern. So I'm gonna 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm gonna just double check all of my seed beads. Yep, I'm good. So check that out. We've got our strand of seed beads and the Czech beads in that lovely AB finish. And you can kind of see how this one is taking shape. Now for the part, if you want to take a nap through this part or go get yourself a soda or something, we're going to string on our seed beads. And let me just show you real quick on my other one. The way I did it was I just did 1, 2, 3 of the 3 colors, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and it adds a really nice dimension to it, gives it a little bit of interest. And this is going to feel really nice on the back of your neck. So this is the piece that's going to be in the back, and it will feel really nice and smooth. So since I ended with white, I'm going to start with the dark color, and I'm just going to string. So I'm going to yammer to you a little bit. Something to think about with this design. So obviously, Jessie James Beads has a lot of beads to choose from. Think of all the possibilities that you could come up with for this design. So if you want to pick another spring tone, you know, St. Patrick's Day is this week. If you want to pull out all of your green beads, you can grab a set of green beads. You can literally do a whole mixed color necklace, and you can create 2 cascades of colorful different colors. You could do colors of the chakra, a rainbow type design. You know, this is just a teaser to get you guys started on lots of other cool ways to use this design. Not too long ago, I did one of these with all metal. So I did metallic seed beads, and I used metal beads and chain. So instead of this cascade of beads, you could actually use chain. So that's another thing for you to think about, and another way to design it your own way. And something I thought about after my materials came was Jessie James Beads has some of the most adorable little tassels on the planet. So you could do your little row of beads. You could wire wrap your beads, and instead of another bead at the end, you could add a tassel. And a little tiny tassel would look so cute at the end of this project. So you could do like a little yellow one. And depending on the beads, if you decide to do another one with different colors, you could throw in whatever color tassel you wanted to. And, you know, as far as seed beads go, these are size 11s, but you could use larger ones too. You could go with an 8 or a 6. You know, they'll just make the piece look a little bit chunkier, which maybe you want that. Maybe you want a little something more proportionate to the larger beads. But it's really kind of up to you how you want to design it. And if I've put anybody to sleep or hypnotized them, I apologize. This is the sort of uninteresting part of this project, but it's the necessary part because we're going to be making our neck feel pretty comfortable by adding all these lovelies back here. And I know not everybody likes working with seed beads. I'm not much of a seed beader myself, but I think seed beads can be very purposeful in a project like this. You don't necessarily have to weave them or create anything complicated. You can just string them on to some memory wire. You could string them on to stringing wire. You can do just about whatever you'd like. And I want to see if anybody does try this out, really want to see what you guys make. And I'd love to see you go and try some variations of this because it's really fun. And because I still have time to ramble a little bit, another thing to think about with a choker is that this can actually be a layer. So layering necklaces is so popular. If you've been out on Pinterest or anywhere on the interwebs, you will see layering galore. So I think sometimes people don't think about a choker as being one of the layers. It's just a little higher up on your neck. So you can layer with this. And because this one's so interesting, this open neck design, I think, you know, it can create a really interesting layering opportunity. So I'm seeing, like with this particular one, with this yellow, you know, maybe a whole chain of these crystals or these pearls, and then literally a like metal chain in a different size, and you've got a trio of really, really cool really cool layers, really, really cool pieces. So sorry, this is the most this is not the most exciting design, but I promise you it packs a lot of power when we get there. I probably should have strung some of this on in advance. But we're getting close. We're getting about halfway there. Now, something too to think about is you could also, if you wanted to, you could put in more of your Czech glass beads. So you could put them around the back. But I've designed this in a way that the beads are going to show up like right at the side of your neck. And this is going to all lay really nicely in the back. So it's up to you. You could do it that way. I even thought of, as an alternative design, taking a couple of the pearls and putting them at the ends before your strand, before your string of wire wrapped beads. Just a thought, just an idea. All right, I think I'm just about there, you guys. So maybe time to wake from your nap, and I'm going to string on my crystal. So I'm just kind of looking at the sizing. Maybe I need to go a little bit longer here. If I use my other one as a guide, just going to check really quick to see how many I have. So this is a very non-technical way. Oh, wow, I'm pretty close. Yeah, I might throw on just a couple more so I can get a little bit of a visual. So I didn't count them. Sometimes I do count seed beads when I work with them, but didn't count them in this case. I probably should have to give you a better idea. All right, so I'm going to put my first Czech glass bead on here, and then I'm going to put 3 white seed beads on over here. And so far, I have not lost any beads on the floor. So Godspeed if you try to do this. You're the first time you're working with seed beads too. Just plan that you're going to lose some, just so you know. But this package that you're going to get, if you happen to pick it up, you're going to have plenty for this project and plenty left over. And you can actually go and make yourself maybe a matching bracelet or something. Maybe a matching memory wire bracelet, which would be kind of fun. All right, so I've got my trios. See how that looks, and sort of the very subtle ombre effect of the seed beads. Very, very subtle. Probably so subtle you can't see it unless it's up close. All right, and then to go the next color down. So I use my first end as my guide for the other side. And I'm going down to dark now, the very darkest color. The darkest color of the seed beads is actually, I think, the closest to the pearls we've got here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so now we are going to wire wrap our little chain. So see where we are with that, ladies. Nice variegated back, all of our Czech glass beads. Now, since we're going to set this off to the side for a minute, you want to make sure that this doesn't get away from you, because all that work could come off. So you could either take a bead stopper if you have and use bead stoppers, or you could grab a piece of tape and tape that around the edge so that you don't lose all that hard work. And we're going to set this off to the side. And now we're actually going to do some wire wrapping. So because I don't need my seed beads anymore, I'm actually going to kind of push them off to the side a little bit so they are out of my way and I don't flip them all onto the floor by accident. So we are using 3 pearls and 3 of our Czech glass beads. And what I like to do is wire wrap the pearls first. So I've got my 22 gauge artistic wire. I actually really love 22 gauge wire. It's my wire of choice. It's probably a little softer than what most folks are comfortable with, but I love the fact that it's pretty easy to work with. So I cut off about, I don't know, 3.5 inches, probably more than I need. But I want to create my little wrapped beads. So I'm going to so first of all, I'll stop here for 1 second and say I'm a very unconventional wire wrapper. So you may not want to learn from me the precise way to wire wrap, but this is just the way that I do it, the way I learned it. So I'm going to pull it over my first barrel and then wrap it around the second. I'm going to push that up and I'm going to start wrapping my wire around. And what I like about 22 gauge wire is that it's so easy to wrap it with your fingers. So if you can see that, I've got 3 wraps, and then holding on to the little excess wire, I'm going to snip that off. And something I always do, so here's why I need the flat nose, is I always just try and straighten out my loop a little bit and straighten out my wire a little bit, kind of push in the little end, and I'm going to grab one of my pearls and slide it on to the wire. Pretty, oh my gosh, I'm just so enamored of these pearls. They're so pretty. All right, then I'm going to do my other end, and I'm going to leave just a teeny tiny bit of space between the bead and the pliers. I'm going to pull that around, and then I'm going to wrap. And we've got a little bit of a finished piece. Now, with these pearls, you want to be careful because you don't want to mark up your finish. But if you're really careful with your tools, you shouldn't. And I just kind of come in and do a little bit of finishing so that this looks as nice as it can look with my wire wrapping skills. And those aren't perfect match loops, but that's the first one. And I grab another piece of wire, gonna snip that off, and this is also not the most exciting part of the project, but I hope that you guys will just be thinking about the inspiration part of this. So I'm going to push that around. This literally is my favorite wire to work with. 22 gauge, artistic wire, silver. In fact, the little delivery people just delivered a couple more spools for me just a couple days ago, because I tend to use it quickly. I use it, a lot of it. So there we go. And I'm just checking to see if I need to kind of fix up that little end there. Just makes me feel better to have it a little tighter. Then pulling that up, twisting that guy around, straightening that out, and wrapping that around nice and tight. Snip that guy off. Easier said than done. And I have my little pile of excess wire over here on the side. Straighten that out just a little bit. Push that together. And if you do have, if you do want to use a different gauge wire, you can. You just may need a little bit of help in pulling that wire around. You might want to use 2 pairs of pliers to do that. But hey, use whatever you would like. But I just enjoy this wire. It's just so easy to work with. All right. And our last pearl, I'm gonna put that guy around the plier. Oops. And if you don't already know this, illuminating yellow is one of the Pantone colors of the year. This is not illuminating yellow, but sort of any yellow is really popular because of the Pantone color of the year. So if you're looking to do something yellow, you could probably find a lot of yellow blouses out there and tops, t-shirts, and this will look great with just about anything. So there's my third pearl. I just want to clean it up a little bit. Clean up that end. All right, so I've got my 3 pearls now. These are going to be the tougher ones to do because we have to connect them, and one of them will actually be on a head pin. So I'm going to grab some more wire, and because these are smaller beads, I would need a little bit less wire, but because I want to be able to give you a good view of this, I'm going to use a little more than I normally would. I'm going to create a little loop, and then I'm going to separate that loop so that I can put on one of my beads. Now, this is again probably not textbook, but this is how I like to do it. I grab my loop and I pull that shorter piece over, and then I straighten out my wire. And then while I've got the plier, in the pliers, I'm going to wrap it around. I hope you guys can see that okay. And I'm going to snip that guy off. And always hold on when you're cutting wire, always hold on to the small piece because it can take your eye out. It's going to pop you in the eye. I wear glasses, but you know, I'd still be afraid that that sucker might bump, you know, pop up and bonk me in the eye and I'm blind for the rest of my life. So always hold on to your wire, be aware of where it is. So see how we've now got our AB check bead. Now what we want to do is create another loop up here, open that guy up a little bit, take our and attach that to the second pearl. It's starting to come together, and we're going to wire wrap that. Sorry, this is kind of a backwards way to do it. And then we're going to cut that wire off. Notice I'm holding it. Put that over there. And then I'm just going to fix that little end up on top of the bead just to make sure it looks finished. So see how we've got a piece of it done. I'm going to grab another piece of wire. I hope you guys are still with me and not sleeping. I don't think I have a soothing voice to put people to sleep, but you might be mesmerized and fall asleep from watching this. Oops, I don't want to. Sometimes I forget that I'm making the chain when I get to these middle parts. So don't make your loop and then remember that you should have closed it up. All right, so I'm gonna wrap that around. And I always try to do like 3 wraps. It's kind of the design rule, 3s. So I've got my pretty AB bead here. Oh, that's looking good. All right, and we're gonna wrap that around, open that guy up, and I'm gonna attach that like so. And my flat nose, I can grab that guy, and then I'm just gonna wrap around. Ooh, that's fun. There we go. And cut this here. holding on to the wire so it doesn't pop up and pop me in the eye. All right, got that guy. And then I'm just gonna come in and make sure that wire is right. Something about when you're wire wrapping, if you've got some little pieces hanging out like that, sometimes they can catch on something. So always try and go in, especially if I'm not making it for myself. I just want to kind of tighten up those little ends of my wire. Now, the last thing we're going to do for this little cascade of beads is we're going to put the last one on a head pin because we're ending with loops. Now, this is where, like I was suggesting, you could do a bunch of different things. You could add chain. You could add a little Jesse James tassel, one of those little cute little tassels, or multiple tassels if you want. But for this project, we're adding one of our lovely little Czech beads. And these, I think, are 20 gauge head pins. So just something to remember, if you've been working with the 22 gauge and you've been going, you're going to have a little more resistance with your head pin. And I try to leave my space there, and I'm going to drop my bead strand into that. And then I'm going to grab that with my flat nose. And this is a little harder to turn, but I can still turn it with my hand because it's long enough. If it were a shorter head pin, you would definitely need another set of pliers to get that guy around. And I see that that little wire's just sticking out just a touch. So I'm just going to manipulate it just a little bit to make it mesh with the wire. So that's our strand. Oh my gosh. I mean, you know what I immediately thought just now is, wouldn't this be a cool earring? That's for another day. All right, guys. So here's our choker piece. So now we can actually finish this up. So let me get all this tool nonsense out of the way. And I'm going to put my second piece on. And then typically what I try to do with this little coil is, this one's not the best coil, by the way, but I usually try to do about 3 or 4 wraps of my memory wire at the end. That gives it a nice solid closure and won't allow anything else to slide, all the beads to slide around. And, you know, I can't tell you exactly how long that is because you will be using, you know, your own set of pliers. But I know this is too much wire for me, so I'm going to snip off a little bit. And remember, memory wire cutters only for your memory wire. You will wreck your other cutters. So I've got about that much space. So that's roughly about 1.5 to 2 inches. And that's what we're going to coil. And what I want you guys to do is coil it towards the inside of the piece, not out. So you want to coil it in. And I am going to use the Beadalon finishing pliers for this because I absolutely adore this little barrel. These pliers are great for so many things, but this is my favorite way to finish off a memory wire piece, whether it's a necklace, choker, or a bracelet. So I'm just going to coil, trying to hold tight to it, and I can see already it's not perfect. And you may have to use a little elbow grease here. You can skip part of your workout for this part if you do this. skip part of your arm workout for the day, maybe. I'm surprised that I'm not thinner from all of the beading exercise that I get. I'm sorry, that's a hokey joke. I'm just going to reposition this real quick and actually get a little bit more leverage on it. All right, so my coil is a touch wonky. So I'm going to show you just another little trick. I'm actually going to use my other flat nose pliers here. So I've got my thicker flat nose. Being careful of the beads, I'm just going to give that a little squish. It's a very technical term, squish. And then, actually, I'm going to squish my other side while I'm at it. I don't think I did that yet. So that's a pretty good match. And there you go, guys. That's our finished product. What do you guys think? You like that? I'm gonna change my camera around. Hey, so if you're still awake, here I am, and I'm gonna put on the one we just made. So intended to be to give this little separation. So this void, and if you're worried about like, is it gonna fall off? No. So memory wire holds its shape for starters, and these beads are weighty enough. These pearls especially are weighty enough that if there is any possibility, they're going to hold it. They're going to hold it down. Gravity's going to hold it down. So this is going to stay on, and you can always test it. You know, wear it around, dance around the house, and it should stay on. And if you are uncomfortable with how far apart it is, you can certainly put it in a little bit closer. Some of the chokers that I've made actually are a little bit closer in. I've even made them to overlap intentionally to have sort of a interesting design. But I really love how this looks. And I think because it's not tight around your whole neck, it may not push any of your skin around. Like if you're very self-conscious about your neck, it's going to sit nicely on the side. So see how I've got the beads along the side. They just start where my neck is visible, and then all those seed beads are just kind of sitting on the back. So this is a really, really comfortable piece. I wore this around for a good couple of hours, which I try to do when I make a design that's really unique, to make sure that it feels good, it's comfortable, it's wearable, and this one is. So try this out, you guys. This is fun, really, really fun. Try it with other beads, but this is a little shot of spring, and I'd love for you guys, whether it's still cold or the sun's out where you are, bring yourself a little spring. Bring some spring into your life. I love it. I think it's a beautiful piece. So hey, that's what I've got for you guys. Go and get yourself some of these while they still exist. And since I used the other one, don't forget, these are the from the Dress It Up. The little Czech beads are from the Dress It Up collection. Go get yourself some beads and make something fun. And I just want to say, again, Sarah James, thank you so much. Danielle, thank you for helping me get connected to the site and getting up live today. I appreciate it. And it was great spending time with you guys. I hope you all make some beautiful chokers, post them, and maybe I'll see you guys sometime soon. Thanks, everyone. Have a great, great, great afternoon and rest of your week. And happy spring. Bye, y'all.